Welcome to ZUDECAST number 106, you motherfuckers. You want to talk some shit? Call Zudes. Want to talk that shit? Yeah. Call Zudes. Call us on air. Say the gamer word. Don't. Don't. But you can call on the Zudes. Yo, we're the Geo Zudes tonight. We're talking that geopolitical news.
I know. I'm so excited, bro.
We've all been Russian propaganda to last night instead of watching the Super Bowl like you fucking capitalist pig dogs. Okay, we're watching Tucker Carlson talk to Putin.
I watched the Super Bowl.
No, yeah,
You're a hater.
I watched a little bit. I watched a little bit of it while I was outside of B-Dubs.
They had Usher there, and they had Luda and Usher and Lil Jon, bro. I was like, all right, you win this time. That's fine.
Hell yeah. It's your boy Crispy Grooves back again. As always, a little bit running late, but you know what? We had to get these things all dialed in for you because we got the live ZUDECAST number. It's pinned up in the chat. That's 916-287-8208.
Yeah, man.
You're listening to Zude FM.
Z-U-D-E.
Oh, wait, no, that's for the morning show.
That's for the morning show.
That's for ZUD and La Mañana.
Yeah.
We're not doing that today.
Not today.
Me boys, we got no guests today, so we're hoping that you kooks will help us out.
Well, this is classic. You know, it's been a while since we've had to bounce off of each other's.
Been a while.
You know, timbre. So this is good. This is good content. It feels good. This feels old school to me. Talking about something that's way out of our league of expertise.
Yes. Talk about foreign policy. What's up, boys?
Yeah, just real quick, it's your boy Adrian Grody. I make art, and I'm a writer, and I make music too. I'm getting back into rapping and stuff, do a little skateboarding, and I'm a host on the ZUDECAST, for those who don't know. So it's your boy Grody.
No way, you're the host on the ZUDECAST?
Yeah, man, I'm not a guest.
I couldn't have put that together.
Hey, I don't know. Some people are just finding out, you know what I mean? I meet new people all the time these days, so.
We're all the host.
Well,
What's up? Our other host.
Actually, I'm not a host. I'm just the most frequently recurring guest on the show. So much that I moved in with the crew.
I think you've been technically on more episodes than me.
Have I?
Probably.
Yeah, I've only voluntarily missed one episode. And when I went on vacation, I thought you guys were going to do one, but you guys didn't end up doing one. So,
dude, we're out here fucking me. Rain or shine. What you boys been up to, man? You've been just living our fucking lives, dude.
Living life, chewing a lot of gum.
We got a call?
Oh,
we got a call?
Oh, man.
Already?
That was fast.
I wonder who it could be.
So
Hello?
I think you got to pull up one on the numpad there, or pull up the numpad and hit one. Are we hearing this?
Hello?
What's up?
Caller, you're on the air, maybe. Sorry, we're throwing this all at you right now.
All right,
Is
give
it?
Let's see what's going on here.
This is our first attempt at the call-in.
We'd like to make it, a frequent thing. So
Yeah, this is just gonna be the show now.
yeah.
Call in.
We like I said before, we need your help. We value your opinion.
We need the Zudes to make their voice peacefully and patriotically heard.
I did not hear a ding.
It was all working right before the show.
What's up with the
Yeah,
Zeus?
but
It was all working right before the show.
yeah.
Dude, I got my fucking DoorDash account back.
I
The
know.
day of the Super Bowl, I was ready. I got stuck at Buffalo Wild Wings for 45 minutes. Anything?
Are you hearing a ringing?
I'm not hearing anything.
That's great.
Damn, it was just working. And so, God bless you. That's our new sound tech, Tony. She's having a brain aneurysm back there.
Sneeze attack, bro.
What the fuck? There's adorable sneezes back here. I mean, what we got? The ZUDECAST got a brand new puppy. It sounds like a kitten.
The way it's not stopping. Insane.
I feel it, man. The wind be blowing, bro.
If you're calling live on the air, please give us some patience. We're
Oh my god.
I got nothing.
Nothing, dude.
It was just working.
Yeah, very strange stuff. But yeah, we were watching the Putin interview. You know, Vladimir Putin. It's kind of crazy that this was as controversial as it was, or whatever, because they were really trying to be like, no, don't do it, you can't. And it's like, Dude, that's like they used to go do that all the time. I mean, there was like, Mao and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well, right. Well, that's like a state leader to state leader type of thing. But it's just so funny because I've just seen a bunch of clips of like MSNBC, CNN, whatever, being like, Tucker Carlson is not a journalist. He's not going to ask the hard-hitting questions. Wait.
Give me like 5 seconds to just. Like,
Oh, okay. We got to turn the audio off for a second.
All
Okay.
right, cool. Wait.
No, like the audio is not being passed through. Did you hear that?
Nope. Thank you for your patience.
Can you hear that?
Hear what? What am I listening for? A call?
Just dinging.
Nope.
Bro, that's so fucking crazy.
Well, this always happens. There's always something. Can the people hear us?
Yeah, you're on.
Are we still? Oh, okay. I thought. Okay.
Oh yeah, I thought you said you wanted to. Yeah, right, yeah.
You reset the audio. Still nothing. What the fuck, man?
It takes like 5 seconds.
All right. Well, we keep goofing with it for a second. I guess we'll just start talking. Hey, yo, if you're trying to call and it's not working, please say something in the chat. We're trying to figure this out live on the air. We didn't test this enough. I thought we did. We had everything
It was
working
so
perfectly.
Good. It was so good. It was so ready. But gotta love it the way the fate entwines us. Get. It was just Jordan testing.
Okay, it was
Yeah.
Josh testing. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Of course.
But either way, man, what a bummer. That's frustrating. But yeah, the journalism, bro, foreign is an interview. It was a lot more stressful than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be kind of like a little bit of like the interview or whatever. Like he was pretty snippy with them. So they're both snippy with each other. So
Yeah, if anybody watched the interview or watched any clips from it or has any thoughts on that, fucking let us know. Because I mean, my first takeaway was he even gave Tucker gave like a little disclaimer at the beginning of the video talking about how so Vladimir Putin, Mr. I guess what do you call him, President Putin.
Yeah.
He was going off. He's basically saying he was yapping. He was spurging out, which is funny because, he's like, so explain the geopolitical situation with Russia and Ukraine. And he's like, well, back in 862. I almost said 1862 because my American brain can only think back to 1862. But this is 862, and bro was yapping. I'm not gonna lie. I made a sandwich during this time. I went to the bathroom.
I think he was yapping, but I think that it was like a tactic to really kind of weed out anybody who's not gonna really be there to pay attention, to be honest, because it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was a lot of history, and if you're not used to hearing a lot of history, it might have seemed it's a lot. It is a lot. It was a lot. It was like 20 minutes, but realistically, he covered like 1,000 years in 20 minutes. That's not that.
That's true.
Crazy, to be honest. I mean, that's not that like a long thing. Now it's a long because it's longer than anything we're used to.
Yeah.
Where everything's so ADD. It was more like a podcast almost.
Yeah. For real. Where it's like, I mean, I can't even imagine Joe Biden talking for more than 20 seconds about American history. We're like, come on, we used to have Jim Eagle.
Yeah.
It was bad, man.
Yeah, it was a pretty, it was definitely a PR win in a lot of ways for, I think, them. I mean, because, don't get me wrong, I could tell everything he was saying was like the Russian clean version.
All right, no dice on the phones for the moment. That sucks.
Yeah, sorry, I have no clue.
Everything was working, and then everything wasn't working.
In like a matter of 5 seconds.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
Well, okay. Yeah, I guess we'll just be talking shit.
It's okay.
Where
Okay.
Jordan turned down input A, what does input B do?
Nothing.
Don't worry about it.
Nothing.
We'll just keep rolling as is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right, don't call us in. Not a live call-in show. Don't call the Zudes. Don't at me. Don't respond. Don't say shit. I don't want to fucking hear it. This is my opinion time, and that's it. And the other Zudes can chime in if they feel like it. What do you guys think about our great dear leader, Vladimir Putin?
He's okay. You know.
How sexy? 1 to 10.
Like 8 maybe.
Bro was looking good.
He's looking healthy.
The American media is telling you that he's sick, that he's got cancer. He looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
He's 71.
I'm sure they got some good color grading people on their team to enhance his natural glow, you know, but not too bad. Not very sickly looking. He seemed pretty lively on the interview, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but one of the most interesting things about the whole interview that I saw was that, you know what Putin said multiple times that I've never heard Trump say and I've never heard Biden say, and I don't even think I've even heard Obama or anybody say. You know what he said? Is I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
He said, I don't know, like 5 times. He asked him like 5 different questions. It's like, so why do you think America is not doing this? Why do you think they haven't called you, blah, blah, blah. And he was just like, I don't know. I was like, I've never heard Donald Trump say, I don't know, except maybe in a context of like, I don't know about that guy. You know, he's never just given a sincere, I don't know. And I appreciate an I don't know.
If you think about the countries as just like two people like in a relationship, America does have some pretty inconsistent behavior, you got to admit. So for him to not know, it's like we've sent so many mixed signals to Russia over the years, especially sort of what he was talking about mostly seems like mixed signals or like, you know, that we're rejecting his messages or like his attempts to communicate. So,
well, it was like a lot of the stuff he was talking about, like it was just like history stuff. Like it was just straight up history stuff. Like it's not stuff that was like, oh, this is like some weird, like skewed. Like he just said, like this is what's happened in the past, like 50, 60 years, and there's been repeated attempts to do that.
Definitely a Russian interpretation.
Well, for sure, but it's not
interpretation
stuff that was
sure.
like he wasn't like pulling shit out that was like not well known. Like a lot of the modern stuff he was talking about is happened in our lifetimes, and he was just laying it out on the table, and he's like, here's what happened at every step of the way, and that's what I think again the beginning was all about, was just like weeding people out of who's going to actually pay attention to this interview and be able to follow it, because it's like if you can't follow the old history here, how are you going to follow how we like look at like the current situation?
We're not used to having a country that has 5 or 6 times more lore than we have.
Right,
they got a lot.
They got a lot of lore, and I mean, if you ask them like, or the main question is, why did you do this? Why did you go into Ukraine? Like, obviously, it's going to require a lot of backstory. It's a really complicated decision, and I don't think you just make that kind of thing on a whim. So I do appreciate like all the context that he went into, even if it was like 1,200 years worth of context.
Well, it's sad that Tucker Carlson had to put a disclaimer almost because he knew that the American audience would be like, boring, I don't fucking care.
Straight up.
Who cares? Like that's basically what it is, and that's what it boils down to. But we just don't have as much history. We have a very checkered past, but we've only had a checkered past for roughly 300 years.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's a trip because he even pulled out like the documents and gave it to him in the middle. He's like, these are like from our library. You can
he gave him a big ass folder.
Yeah, he said you can look at these. Which I mean, hey, that's like a real move, to be honest. To be like, this is like the historical relationship between this area and us, and so it's like, as the president, that's shit that you would expect the president to know, actually,
That's it's funny too, because he's like, yeah, you can check out this library of documents that we've got for you. It's all in Russian, but one of y'all can translate it for we're not gonna do that for you. We're not gonna fucking take you down easy street. We know y'all ain't gonna read this shit.
I wonder if they've ever been translated, is the thing.
I'm sure they probably have.
They probably have multiple versions of it for themselves. Like, I mean, most countries use English and whatever their language is.
Well, I kind of respect that. I mean, does Putin does he just not learn English? I almost respect that Russia's just like, nah, man, we're our own thing. Obviously, going to fucking war with Ukraine is bad, and fucking it's gotten way worse. But man,
I see no need for them to cater to the American, public or learn English necessarily.
No.
Like, I feel like if there were translations in English, that he probably would have given them the English translations. So
Shout out, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Shout out
That's
to
just
the to the actual translator on the on the episode too.
That's a lot
I
of
mean,
work, man.
that's like because there's two guys in an earpiece. I don't understand how that exactly works because it's just like he's listening to it and then like while Putin is still talking, he has to like, but he's like a sentence or two behind. It's kind of crazy how that works. I don't truly understand how that works. Like you have to have a real just special kind of tism to make that work.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like the sort of phenomenon where if you hear your own voice played back to you, but like slightly delayed, it fucks up your ability to speak completely.
Right.
But it's just like you're just trying to talk and listen. I don't know.
Yeah,
it
it's
hurts my
definitely
brain
like
to
a-
think about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like two parts moving at the same time.
If
Hey, can you put real quick too that the Collins broken just as a tag as a pinned comment just
Oh,
because
okay.
I don't want people maybe calling or whatever just yeah, but
I don't know why.
yeah, but yeah, I mean again, it's it's a trip, because no other world leaders are literally just sit down like this for a long thing, to talk about this situation. It wasn't as
Oh yeah, Chris Martin saying, "Could you imagine the pressure if they mistranslate too?" Exactly.
yeah.
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 If it's like, right, yeah, if there's a miscommunication there, that could really put some things in turmoil. But man, I don't know. It's like whatever you think of Tucker Carlson, love him or hate him, I kind of have, I don't know, I got mixed feelings on the guy, but I'm like, bro's a first, what's it called? A primary source document. That's a primary
yeah,
source document
yeah,
right there, dude.
Well, his face must have hurt after from doing the listening
Yeah.
face for so long. He's like,
Oh God.
I can't even do it.
yeah,
For fucking just
For,
that
like,
scowl, that Tucker scowl. Just not blinking. That
Yeah.
shit's wild, dude.
Yeah, just like listening so intently. Yeah, I mean, it was like I said too. It's just he didn't really say anything that was like that outlandish. Really, that's what's rough, because like a lot of it, he's just saying like, why, like he's like, I don't know why you guys choosing to do this. Why are you choosing to do it when you have your own problems and stuff going on, and instead of doing that,
He makes a good point with that.
yeah.
Yeah, well, it's kind of nuts, man, because I've definitely heard about that before where, it all started it didn't all start. Obviously, the shit started in the fucking 800s, but in terms of in 2014, there was like the Maidan Revolution where what's his face became president after, and it was like a bloody violent coup depending on who you ask, but I mean, this is all kind of a CIA funded thing that happened in and then like Russia took Crimea, and it was this whole thing, and it's like because there was the one part where Tucker was saying, oh, like, this was all started by the CIA, the organization which you hoped to join. I'm glad you didn't, basically is what he said, like, to Tucker, because that's what, like, when Tucker Carlson was a kid. That's why I'm almost like, I don't know about Tucker Carlson. Sure, he wanted to join the intelligence agency. Wouldn't that be crazy if it was all along like he was CIA?
That would be pretty crazy, actually.
I don't think so though, but yeah. But yeah, man, fucking it's
Oh, sorry, never
What's
mind,
up?
never mind.
What's up?
Oh, they said the listeners could hear Vault Rob, but we couldn't, so that's weird.
I'm not Vault Rob, though.
No, on
when
the-
they
on the
called. When
Oh,
they
Vault
called-
Rob called?
when they
so
called
they could
earlier.
so they could hear it on the stream, but we can't hear it.
That's
Bro,
weird.
what the heck is going on
Man.
in this joint?
Bobby, I know you're not Vault Rob.
I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about, bro? I know we got the same name and everything, but ain't the same nickname, apparently.
That's weird though. But anyways, yeah.
Should we try and like take 5 and figure it out, or
I don't know. I don't know.
I
if
did-
he can't figure it
I
out,
did
don't
take
know.
5 and try to figure it out, and I didn't change anything.
Yeah.
Like
so-
the audio shows that it's coming through on the mixer on voice meter, and it's being passed to our headphones. It's just not. It's not making the connection. The dots are not being drawn somewhere.
What if this guy's fucking it up? The laptop.
what guy?
The laptop being plugged in.
I considered that, and I disabled the device and tried to refresh it, and that did not work.
Okay. No worries.
Damn.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
Well, whatever. All right. Well, don't call the Zudes. Fucking try calls next week. I mean,
Leave us a message.
do leave us a fucking voicemail. Yes.
We'll
Yeah, leave
play
us a voicemail.
We'll play voicemails next
we
week.
can play. Yeah, leave us some voicemails and then we'll play them on the next episode.
Yeah, next week our entire audio setup is changing once again. So,
Yeah. Hey man, just
got more gear to solve
just-
more problems.
just to let y'all know, the Zudes did just drop about like a G on some fucking new gear, dude, that we're doing to make this fucking thing work. Because I know we've had lots of tech problems, and it's tough out here, man. We're all basically fucking making minimum wage, low key out here, trying to buy all this fucking audio equipment and all this stuff, and we've come a long way. And thanks to all the love and support from the Zudes in the chat, the Zudes and Zudettes, we love you. And just a friendly reminder, we do have a little coffee page. If you feel like, if you want to call into the show, you gotta grease the wheels a little bit. You know
Oh
what I'm
my
saying?
god.
Man, we'll get back to the Putin stuff, dude. I want to hear people's thoughts on it if anybody's actually watched it. Well, one more thing I was gonna say on the Putin before we talk about other shit too is that the main complaint that Putin had about the U.S. or about just the West in general is about NATO, which is one of the things that if you know anything about NATO, this is one of the things that Trump was saying in like 2014, 15, even like before he was president. He's like, we got to get out of NATO. It's a stupid deal. And it's like, it is one of the worst deals in American history because when you talk about NATO, right, it was established during, it was right after World War II?
World War II, yeah.
And so it's right after World War II. You got the Cold War. You got this alliance of countries that are like, don't fuck with us, USSR. The more you expand, because the USSR was expanding back then, out through like Cambodia, Vietnam, and China, obviously, and their sphere of influence was growing that whole time. So NATO was kind of made to be where it's like, but as all government institutions or intergovernmental institutions, it becomes a thing and then it just doesn't go away.
Yeah.
The Soviet Union was disbanded in 1991. And then what? And then what's NATO for? And nobody's ever really been able to answer that. It's like, okay, maybe so they don't try it again. But it's like Russia got rocked after fucking World War II. And then even though they fucking, they tried their best to fucking pinky in the brain take over the world, right? I mean, it's one of the things that we like to think that like America won World War II, but it's like really in a way you could argue that it was Russia that like basically stopped a lot of this shit and stopped Hitler and
well,
with 20 million lives, so many Russians died.
There's a misconception that Japan surrendered after America dropped the nukes, and they actually didn't surrender after America dropped the nukes. They surrendered when Russia declared war on them, because they're like, a Russian invasion is actually like worse than still just holding out on America, maybe even dropping another bomb.
Right, because Russia didn't give a fuck. Like Russia just, I mean, to their credit or to their blame, like they just kept throwing human lives at the problem.
Yeah,
They conscripted everybody and fucking, that was just the way that war was. Or it's almost like they were almost taking a more old school approach, while the U.S. was like, how do we fucking do this? While we just drop one bomb, one guy in one plane flies over a place. Now I'm not saying that's not a good way to do it, but like, instead of throwing hundreds of thousands of human beings at the thing, it's just like, all right, let's just bomb the fuck out. That's been like the main American strategy, where the Russian strategy is like, yeah, bro, like the boys are gonna roll through.
Yeah.
It's like after the Soviet Union fell in 91, they really were not in a position to do shit. Like they got fucking decimated. Like, and then every few years, NATO kept expanding their borders, adding new countries to be NATO. But one of their kind of red lines was like, all right, Ukraine can never be part of NATO. And technically they're still not, but that's been on the table recently, which is like, that's their fucking line that Russia didn't want us to cross. Because, I mean, you can imagine, it's the same thing as, why did we do the whole Bay of Pigs thing? It's because, the USSR was encroaching on Cuba, which is like right there next to the States. It's kind of the same thing. It's like a satellite state. Like Ukraine has become basically a satellite state for the United States. It's kind of wild. And they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And it's like, I'm not saying it's like all our fault, but like things didn't have to go this far. And I'm not saying Russia did the right thing or it's like a preventative measure. Like that's what Putin seemed to be arguing. It's like like the reason we took Ukraine, or they didn't even take Ukraine. The reason we attempted to invade Ukraine was to stop, them from becoming a NATO member, which is like what's been kind of on the table and what's been threatened for the past few years. Because I mean, and the U.S. media brings up Zelensky as like this hero basically, or as like
Well, that was I mean, the whole thing he was talking about, like the neo-fascist movements that are going on, and how that's like super, culturally a problem over there, and it's like infiltrated the government and infiltrated the military and stuff. Because that was a whole thing. Remember, there was like Azov Battalion and stuff, and all that was coming out at the beginning of the invasion, and then they, they gave
Jon Stewart gave a fucking medal to like a Nazi guy at Disney World.
Really?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you guys didn't hear about that?
Well, I know there was the Justin Trudeau one where they like gave a standing ovation and then like a award of honor and stuff.
Yeah.
And but I didn't know about the Disneyland one. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it was at like some Disney type of event, but
That's crazy.
yeah, but like basically it was a guy that fought like for the Azov Battalion, they're basically like neo-Nazis. And obviously Russia's got even more of an issue with that than the U.S. I mean, lots of U.S.
The history is way more like connected over there. Like over
absolutely.
there, it's like legit,
That's some of
like,
y'all. That's some of y'all's grandpas.
Yeah, that's like there's like people that are like still alive and stuff.
Right.
Like it's a way bigger problem over there for it to like culturally like rise up. And to be honest, there it's like the kind of conditions are right for like radical movements in general. I mean, you see even over here, you see like your wannabe Antifa kids going crazy over here, but it's over there. It's like they get into the Nazi stuff because that's like,
and you see that stuff in the U.S. too. There's like fucking white supremacist fools or whatever. A lot of the time it ends up being fucking CIA plants, but but like that is a thing. But it's because I'm not saying like of course like they have to denazify Ukraine, because it's like, well, Ukraine's not Russia, so you really don't have any standing on like what they do. You can be mad at it, you can speak out against it, but it's like that's not really your thing, like that's like that's like the U.S. being like, we have to de-radicalize this Middle Eastern country, we have to de-jihadify this country.
I definitely think the
they're kind of using the same tactic that we
like
would.
with the legal boundaries are not quite the same. He's admitting that like they've become their own state or whatever, and that he's not trying to like seize control of it, but he's arguing that a lot of people who are in Ukraine are of different cultural heritages, and a lot of people who were originally Russian just had a border like redrawn around them. Right. So that's his argument for like vested interest in the state of Ukraine and what happens there, I guess.
Because those borders were redrawn in 1991. Like Ukraine as its modern incarnation is only it's only existed since like after the fall of the USSR.
Yeah.
Pretty wild stuff, but
and Putin's been president that whole time, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's crazy too. And when you think it's like, so I'm not here to say like, oh, like Russia's awesome and Russia's great, but it's like I feel like we just have a very limited understanding on what's going on over there in Russia and in China and in any part of the rest of the world. The U.S. just doesn't have any fucking idea, and we're so easily able to just be told like, oh, Zelensky, he's fighting for democracy and freedom, and it's like, bro, he's basically, it's this small little country, like trying to fight Russia, which is like the second most heavily nuclear armed country in the world, right? Other than us,
first according to Putin.
First, right. I wouldn't doubt. I mean, and it doesn't take all the nukes. Only takes a few. To really fuck things up.
He was like, we're number one with like, what was it, hypersonic missiles or something?
Yeah, I believe it. Well, and it's like, so Zelensky's trying to provoke that. I mean, and it's, but he wouldn't be trying all that shit without the U.S. backing him up and be like, we're gonna fight for you.
I do believe with what he's saying, where he's like, there's no communications, there's no like line to negotiation, there's nothing. Like I do believe that, like, because they're like trying to do like a war trial on him and stuff too, and it's like if he's saying you can't even like do that, which again too, I mean, you might, if you're gonna do one for him, do one for Bush, do one for Obama, do one for Trump, do one for all of them, bro. They all do this, and do one for the fools in Israel too, because they're all they're all doing this. And I think with Israel and Russia too, something that's crazy is they both feel like emboldened by like the war on terror and by like the whole past like 20 years of American behavior, where we're just doing whatever we want. So
Ukraine and Israel are very similar in the eyes of the United States, like those are kind of just like, those are our little satellites that we have in these otherwise very anti-Western pockets of the world that don't want anything to do with us. Like Israel's our, like that's our, you know,
Our foothold.
Yeah, our foothold, right? Because without them, we wouldn't really have shit. But it's like, I don't know. It's just funny to hear the U.S. media talk like Putin. He's a mad dog. He's a fucking warmonger, and it's like, dude, our like foreign strategies are way more hardcore than anything that Russia's doing or China's doing. Not saying Russia or China are good. I'm just saying, like, we're the most aggressive, like, warmongering country basically on earth. Like, we start the most shit everywhere. And I'm like, I'm saying this as a patriot, brother. Like, I'm not not trying to be like, you fucking America, man. But it's like, yo, this shit's fucking out of control, dude. Like, what? And the whole thing is like, Ukraine's not a member of NATO, but it's like, but we're sending them 70, 80 billion dollars anyways. And it's like, well, we have to stop them from invading Ukraine, or else they're gonna take Poland, because Poland's NATO, right? I think, or like all these other, you know, surrounding countries that are near Russia's borders. They're gonna try and take Poland, and then they're gonna take Germany. Germany's definitely NATO, and it's like, well, we have to, but it's like, so we're basically treating Ukraine as if they were a NATO country, but they're not even. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, we can't let them take all these other NATO countries, because then we're going to have to send them a bunch of aid and weapons. And it's like, you mean like we're already doing? Like, what's the difference, really?
Yeah, that's crazy. The, like, cascade of catastrophe sort of argument. Yeah, it just doesn't hold very much ground, like, pushing that many resources into this one stage just because of what might potentially happen with no grounds.
Right. And it's like, I don't even know what the U.S.'s goal is of all this. Like, it's, I mean, just like thousands of Ukrainians and Russians have just died pretty much senselessly in this whole thing. Like, they're not actually going to take Kiev or take any of this shit. Like, I don't even think they can. In the same way that, like, you know, the U.S. couldn't actually take, or like, you know, really put their foot down in Vietnam or Afghanistan or any of these places. Like, we're like, oh, we're so fucking big and tough with our big ass military. We can fucking take over your country. You think you can stand up against it? It's like, yeah, most of them can. It has not been easy. Yeah. Like, they really thought Putin was just gonna come in and fucking steamroll the whole place, and it's like, it's not been that easy. It might have been easier if we didn't send him 80 billion, but it's like, I don't even know. It's like if someone was getting into a bar fight, and they're like a scrawny weakling, and they're fighting like a big ass motherfucker in a bar that wants to like kill them. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I don't know if I can do it. But then like their other big ass homies like, I got you, bro. Just fucking hit me up if anything goes wrong. I'll fucking, you know, I'll throw in the assist. You can just tag me in, you know, I'm good. And then it's like, and then eventually we just like, all right, peace out. And then it's just like, they're just standing there holding the bag. So I don't even know what the goal is. But it's good to have primary source documents like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely some, you know, that's gonna go down as one of the moments, you know, where it's like of our generation, where it's like that's a pretty significant, you know, culturally and in terms of like media and like kind of producing stuff that's very uncut, I guess, too. You know, because the whole thing was just one. You know, I don't know if they cut stuff or whatever. It didn't really seem like
right.
it.
Right. It seemed like it was pretty much unedited. I'm not actually sure, but
yeah, but I don't know. You know, I think it was a good example of just how things should be done in terms of these important global issues. It can't be just like pop, 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 pop. Like, and it's like, don't get me wrong. I know everything he was saying was through the lens of like, I'm the Russian president. I'm trying to make everything look good. I'm trying to give the fairy tale version of our history and stuff too. I'm sure there was a lot of dark things that got left out.
I don't know enough to discredit him. You know what I mean? I'm like, that doesn't sound right, but I don't know enough to fucking.
Right. Well, you know.
I mean, there's no reason for him to lie necessarily. I don't think.
Right. I mean, obviously, he would probably benefit to stretch the truth a little bit and make it sound like Russia's a lot nicer than they really are.
Well, I'm sure that they are a lot nicer than we make them seem. So
probably,
you know,
that's the thing. I mean, it's like most Americans have never gone and will never go to Russia or China or like any of these places. No. It's just so crazy, man. Because it's like, do they know anything about our structure? Because one of the other things Putin was saying that you know, how are we supposed to really deal with the United States and talk to the United States? Other than the president, it's 50 different states, basically, that all have their own government, which we all view as like, that's, I mean, and I do view that as like, that's a better way to govern than have one overarching, controlling, you know, federal government. It's better to have a bunch of little states that kind of micromanage their own little problems. But it does make it weird for you know, talking to other countries and treating another country like another, like, super organism, basically.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I feel like he makes a really strong point there, because the purpose of the state is to like consolidate interests, basically, right?
Right.
That's why you live in one state or another. So if we have just 50 parties of just mutually exclusive interests, then that can be pretty confusing to navigate. So.
Right. And I'm sure, right, when it comes to international, you know, exchanges, it's weird because, like he was saying, there's no, you know, oh, you might have, I don't think it actually went through, but Trump was supposed to be taken off the ballot in Colorado and Maine. I don't know that actually, like, became a thing, but, you know, yeah.
That should
It's,
not
it's
be
kind of a
allowed.
valid point. And we changed leadership so drastically and wildly from administration to administration. Whereas, like, that's crazy that Putin's literally been, I mean, he was KGB. Like, let's not forget that shit. Like, he was a
Yeah.
fucking Soviet spy.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild to think about, you know what I mean? Like, but he's literally been in power for what, 30 plus years at this point?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just setting them down.
Actually,
Yeah.
30 years. I thought Tucker said something like 24 on
Something
the
like
interview.
that.
But he's definitely been, you know, a lifelong government guy. So there's
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, I see. It was 8 years from 2000 to 2008. And then there was another guy, Dmitry Medvedev, from 2008 to 2012.
And that guy was like a Biden type fool, but for Putin, like that was like a whole thing.
Biden
too.
type fool, and that he was old.
No, in that he was just like a front. It was like basically just like you know how this is basically like Obama part 2. Like he was basically like Putin behind the scenes, and then it went right back to Putin. But yeah,
Right.
yeah, man.
It's fucking wild, dude.
Yeah, you know, we're living in crazy times. I hope that it does something to just kind of calm things down. Like, I hope that, you know, I mean, calm rhetoric is what needs to be happening, you know, these days in general. The rhetoric needs to calm the fuck down because everything's so sensationalized for, like, the, you know, whipping everybody into a hysteria, a mass formation psychosis. You know, it makes everybody easy to control, too, but it just makes everything, like, escalate way harder than it needs to.
Yeah. It's like having that one friend that doesn't talk to you for like 2-3 years at a time, and every once in a while you're just like, so that's why you've just been doing shit and you have reasons, you know.
Right.
Just like anybody else. I feel like we just tend to over-exaggerate the consequences of situations like this in our head, like just kind of inflate them when it's not really close to the truth in the end.
Yeah, man.
So, Russia.
Yeah. Fucking- It's pretty wild, dude.
I was saying I'm trying to be a weeb for Russian culture, bro. I need to get sick with it.
Russian lore.
Yeah.
Was
Russian
Vlad,
lore's crazy though.
was
dude.
Vlad the Impaler from Russia?
No. So his whole thing was against. I want to say, I think it's against Hungary was his thing, like the Hungarian Empire. I think that was his whole thing because he was from like, I forget where that kind of even is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hungry, man. Who gives a fuck? That's what I'm saying though. That's like the average American, just like, man, I don't give a fuck about British people. I don't give a fuck about the French. I don't give a
Hey,
fuck
don't
about
say that. We have a
Germans.
French guest now coming on next week.
Well, I can confront him.
okay.
I don't give a fuck about the French. No, I'm just playing. I'm saying Americans in general. Well, he'll have an opportunity to redeem his country in my eyes. Just giving you a hard time.
Okay.
Fucking, I don't give a shit about Hungary. I don't give a shit about Czechoslovakia or whatever you call it now. Czech Republic. Stop changing fucking names so fast. Stop, Yugoslavia. Not even a thing, dude. Fuck out of here.
Yugoslavia is not a real place.
Exactly. Ukraine's not a real place, according to Russia.
Oh my god.
Yeah. You know. People have their opinions.
In other horrible news, you hear about the fucking Joel Osteen's church?
Why did it catch on fire?
No.
Damn.
Well,
Well, it
dude.
caught fire. That's
Well,
for sure.
there was fire. Yeah, exchanged. No, there. Yeah, you didn't hear about this?
No.
This is in Houston, Texas, bro. In Joel Osteen's mega church. You know, this church has like 45,000 people.
Yeah.
In attendance, like every week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
During one of the services, a person whose gender I still cannot determine walked up in the place in a trench coat and like schmopen schmeier in the schmerch. And it's crazy. I guess this person. Okay, this is what's happening, right? Well, and
Yeah.
there's been no fatalities. Basically, I think there's one guy got shot in the leg, and then another kid is in critical condition. But I guess the kid was someone that the schmooter brought in with her. This was a lady, I think. But it's very confusing because we don't have any clear language on this shit anymore because the suspect is or was transgender. And so different news outlets have different ways of reporting this. So like the Daily Mail, for example, says the woman, or they always give the preferred pronouns in their news stories. But then I was just listening on the radio this morning, and NBC said it was a female. So if you read one source, it makes it sound like it's a man who transitioned to be a woman, and then the other makes it sound like it's a woman that transitioned to be a man. So really, you have no fucking idea what's going on. Not ultimately that it's that important. It was just a fucked up, deranged person. Don't care what genitals you really have at the end of the day, but still, it's kind of pertinent information.
It kind of is just because of the statistical distribution of these sort of events according to the gender who is like committing the crime. It's like 96% male plus.
No, exactly.
Like-
Well, and this also happened like about a year ago. There was in Tennessee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this was the same thing. Where I mean, obviously, yeah, most of the incidents like this, I'm trying to be careful with my words, have been
Yes.
have been pretty much all male. But like now it's like there's been kind of a wave of like 4 or 5 different like trans shooters basically.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. I mean, it's fucked up, but it's very interesting to think about, like, is this possibly a result of some sort of medication that people are taking that causes,
The T, perhaps?
it could be, bro. It could be. I mean, if you're not, it's like,
Okay, what is the difference between men and women mostly is like hormonal development over the course of years. And the biggest thing that men have that women don't is testosterone.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's probably a primary contributor to why most of these incidents are primarily committed
Right.
by males, right?
because like everybody knows about, I mean, there's been plenty of athletes, male athletes that have taken roids or taken, all sorts of, hormones and things like that have gone off the handle, and you could be like, well, that's roid rage.
Yeah.
But when you get an incident like this, it's like, man, it kind of makes you think, is this almost like a roid rage type of situation? Not to say they would have done it or not done it either way, but it's pretty fucking wild, man. But I don't know, that's just like breaking news right now, but
Do we know
shit's fucking crazy.
why it happened at all? Was there any sort of indication as to like motive?
Yeah, dude. Okay, so get this. I'll pull it up on fucking CNN here, dude. Shooter at Houston megachurch had lengthy criminal history, including weapons charges, police say. And then it just says a woman who walked into a popular Texas megachurch Sunday afternoon with a long gun and her 7-year-old son opened fire before she was killed by law enforcement officers on the scene. Gunfire left the child in critical condition and another man injured.
It's crazy.
Fucking wild, right?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And so, what's up?
Nothing.
The woman identified as Janess Yvonne Moreno entered the church wearing a trench coat and a backpack and opened fire. And then, but dude, apparently she had an AR that had like scrawled onto it "Free Palestine."
Interesting.
It was like, and she's also apparently from El Salvador.
That's very confusing.
Yeah, no, it's like trans migrant Palestine. I'm like, this is almost like too many things, bro.
Yeah, that's
It's
real
almost
confusing.
it doesn't. It sounds like if it was in a movie and you saw this as like a trope, you'd be like, man, this is like a little bit on the nose. You know what you think? It's a little over the top, but I guess this really happened. It's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, that just makes it extremely difficult to like pen down a potential motive, or some sort of political reasoning behind the act. When there's just so many different categories that a person could fit into. So yeah, I don't really know.
Fun stuff.
Curious that it was Joel Osteen's church, though. I really want to know what was going through this person's head.
I don't know, dude. I mean,
it is.
I don't know. I don't know really what Joel Osteen's talking about. Probably pro-Israel.
I can't imagine that it.
He's just a huge piece of shit in general.
I'm
Come on,
definitely
what
not
the
a Joel
fuck?
Osteen fan in general,
what the
but I don't
fuck,
really
dude?
know
Like,
much about the guy.
He's notoriously a huge piece of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the definition of mega church, grifter pastor.
Yeah.
It's
Aside from being a piece of shit, just having an issue with the evangelical sort of side of religion personally. He's not a nice guy necessarily, not exactly known to be charitable, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think 45,000 people attending the same church is what God intended.
Yeah, well, and it's like, and also this person is now dead. Like, off-duty officers, like,
they
took her out. It's pretty fucking crazy, man.
Insane. Well, I'm glad there were as few casualties as there turned out to be, and there were people who knew how to handle the situation on hand.
Can't try that shit in Texas, bro.
No, and especially full of a bunch of Christians.
Dude, so she shot her son
I'm not even
on
sure.
accident.
I'm not
and
sure
like
if that
shot
was
another
on
guy in the
purpose or
leg.
what. Yeah.
Who fucking knows, dude? This is just an insane fucking story, man.
Yeah, clearly didn't get very far there, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's like the only bright side of that is that didn't go any farther, but it's pretty fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the Super Bowl?
No.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember the last time I actually watched the Super Bowl, to be honest.
It's weird because it's such a repeat of 2020 where it's like election coming up. It's gonna be Trump versus Biden, Chiefs versus the Niners. It's all happening again.
You hear all the Taylor Swift conspiracies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what are the Taylor Swift conspiracies you've heard?
Well, I've heard of the crazy recurrence of the number 13. Everybody is in the QAnon diseased realm. People love their numerology and their gematria and shit like that. So they're all like, man, look at all these occurrences of number 13. It's like her 13th Super Bowl, 13th this, 13th that. And I'm like, it's a lot of number 13s, but what the fuck are you implying with this?
That is weird.
I don't know.
It's her 13th Super Bowl that she's attended?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm sure there's a precise breakdown by some well-educated and person with plenty of free time on their hand.
If you watched it on Nickelodeon, SpongeBob and Patrick were there commentating.
That's
weird.
That's
I think it was actually the real voice actors too. Like I think it was Tom Kenny and fucking whatchamacallit that does Patrick's voice. That was actually there. They were like giving the fucking play-by-play. It was fucking weird, but it was like I was like, is this real or is this AI? Because it almost sounded fake, where it was like SpongeBob and Patrick fucking, but it was like CG versions of them talking shit like about football. I would play it, but yeah.
Nah, it just brings up memories. And South Park posted this too, because obviously Super Bowl, but that one episode where all the kids are dressed up in crazy helmets and they're all wearing bras and shit, and they just called it Sarcastable. And Randy goes on a national campaign basically to make Sarcastable the national sport, and he's doing it ironically the whole time. But the woke crowd is just cheering him on at every fucking rally he goes to and every sponsored event. They're just yeah, let's fucking do it.
Oh, it's where football's too safe, so they have to, or football's too dangerous, so they make something that's safe.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, Gen Z necessarily didn't grow up with SpongeBob, but the fact that we have SpongeBob and Patrick at the Super Bowl now commentating is a very Gen Z move.
Yeah. Well, it was only if you watched it on Nickelodeon though. Yeah,
gotcha.
it was different on the regular
Gotcha.
channels.
It's interesting though. I
Dude,
don't
Like I was saying, I got my DoorDash account back just in time to fucking work the Super Bowl, and I was fucking double apping it, dude. I'm on the fucking grind again, dog.
Perfect.
And yeah, I ended up, dude. I felt so bad for like, because like at Buffalo Wild Wings, my local Buffalo Wild Wings, they had it all like. They had like a whole table and canopy and shit set up. And there was like fucking 30 people there all just waiting, like harassing this woman who's like, DoorDash order, I have like just like every different person was like coming through with like online orders and DoorDash orders. And there was just like this lady just standing at the table, just like, I haven't got that one yet. Yeah, this is the 8th time you've asked me. I don't have that fucking order yet. Yeah, we're running about an hour behind. I was like,
God, bro, the simulation
sucks.
broke.
Dude, it sucked. And I was like, I was waiting so long. I was like, this order doesn't even fucking tip that much. I was just waiting to deliver one guy, one serving of wings, man. I would have been pissed if I went to the fool's house and he wasn't even watching the Super Bowl. I was just like, fuck you and your wings, man. You don't get to eat wings unless you're watching the game.
Man, maybe he wanted to, but like he never got the invite, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he just had to have like a pity party at home.
That's sad.
But then his wings were like a fucking hour late.
Yeah, it gets right there by the wings show up during the halftime show, and he's like, I don't want to miss Usher.
Damn, Usher is not bad though. I don't.
No,
mind
I'm
Usher.
actually. That was probably the part I would have enjoyed the most. I don't know. It's yeah. What's going on with you guys?
Oh, satanic rituals at the Super Bowl as well, supposedly.
Oh yeah.
Ice Spice throwing up the devils.
Oh yeah, of course. That's all par for the course.
I love how all the commentary on that is just referring her to her as Taylor Swift's friend. They were like sitting next to each other, but I'm like, isn't that just Ice Spice though?
Yeah.
They were like being besties the whole time, which was funny, bro. They were like hanging out the whole time.
Bro, that's weird. Taylor Swift's friend. Like, she's literally world famous in her own right at this point, for better or for worse. But, you know.
For better or for worse.
I can't hate, you know.
Nah, dude, fucking do your thing, girl.
She's all right. We had some Carmen Sandiego level shit go down this event. I can't remember, or this month, I should say. There was a radio tower in Alabama, like a 200-foot tall radio tower that was completely stolen off of the face of the earth.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
A
So
200-foot radio tower?
yeah,
Gone?
just gone off the face of the earth. I forget where this was, but I'm sure there's articles about this that we can pull up here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you even begin to rationalize the logistics of that? You get like a crew of people. Like, how do you knock it over? How do you get it to the ground? Like, how do you deal with disconnecting all the electricity from that? And then finally, how the fuck do you get it out of there with nobody noticing?
That's fucking insane, dude.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm hard pressed to believe that it's actually like something that humans could pull off in one night.
Alabama radio station booted from air after 200-foot tower vanished without a trace.
Yeah.
Have you seen a 200-foot tower going by? That's the question WJLX general manager Brett Elmore is asking everyone after thieves made off with his radio station's AM tower last week, resulting in the station having to shut down. The Jasper, Alabama station was ordered off the air by the FCC as authorities continue to investigate how and why the heavy steel structure suddenly disappeared. Yo, that's fucking weird. In all my years of being in the business, around the business, everything like that, I've never seen anything like this, Elmore told the Post. You don't hear of a 200-foot radio tower being stolen. Dude, what the hell? We're going to find that shit one day, just like in someone's backyard. He's like, I'm starting my own radio station. Fuck y'all.
Just stuck up back there. Shoot, no, I also heard about a patch of road in India, like a 5-kilometer patch of road that somebody stole as well.
What?
They just stole the fucking road off of the earth, bro.
Is the fucking Katamari Damacy ball rolling around, just fucking rolling up
Just
entire
gathering shit up.
radio stations and fucking roads in different places on Earth? That's fucking crazy, dude.
I don't know. What other crazy events do we have going on this month or this week? Anything cool?
I don't know. You
Shit.
guys got anything?
There was a let me see here. There was a water park that like exploded.
Oh, exploding water park?
Yeah, there's a water park that like caught on fire, I guess. It wasn't
What?
Yeah.
The water park caught on fire?
yeah.
Like the peak of irony right there.
Yeah, so I think it wasn't open yet or whatever, or it was like under construction and it like caught on fire and blew up. I don't know.
God bless you. Shout out Tony running the boards.
Hey. Do you know where that was at?
Let me see.
Water park catches on fire.
Yeah, pull it up. It's
That's
pretty
hella
crazy.
funny.
Water, yeah, it's you can find it.
What? The blaze at the Oceana Water Park in the popular Leisberg amusement park complex in downtown Göteborg. Where the fuck is this? Oh, this is in Sweden. That's crazy, bro. It's got to be like it's got to be an indoor water park in Sweden, right? I would imagine it's cold
One
as
would think.
fuck out there.
It is pretty cold.
12 people were slightly injured.
How slight is slight, bro?
Only slightly burnt to a crisp.
But that's a lot of people to be slightly injured. I mean, I don't know. Just kind of make me giggle a bit there.
I don't know. There was a whole video I sent.
Could not immediately say what caused the fire. That's nuts, dude.
Man, chat. Have you heard of anything crazy going on this week?
I
Let
know.
me
Clearly, we did our homework this week. We did watch the fucking Tucker thing. It's a lot, dude.
That was like 2 hours.
I feel
bro.
like I gotta watch it again almost to like fully understand what the fuck. Because a lot of that shit, I was just like, I'm too fucking stoned for this.
Yeah, it's a lot to process. I don't know. I think the main takeaway there for me is just being able to hear from the man himself.
Yeah,
You
man.
know? Yeah.
Well, it's the same as like, I mean, I'm pretty sure didn't Larry King interview fucking Putin like years ago?
Probably. I'm sure. Larry King is the goat. Let's pull it up.
He is the goat. Yeah, man. He interviewed him like back in the day, and then it's like Barbara Walters interviewed Osama bin Laden back in the day.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
I'm pretty sure. Or wait, hold on.
Yeah, pull that up.
Oh, that's
I'm gonna
incredible.
I'm gonna need to see if that one's real.
Yeah.
With okay, well, John Miller did one.
I think it'd be interesting comparing the Larry King interview.
I think not a lot of them were like on video, but
I don't know. How do you guys feel about the questions Tucker was asking? Because I'm not so sure.
people were saying, oh, it's he's going soft on him, he's just going easy on him, but I feel like some of the questions were pretty pointed, like he was kind of getting into it. I didn't think he was just kind of letting things slide, but all you can really do in a situation like that is just kind of let him say his version of the story. I don't think that was really his job to go in there and be like, actually, Putin, you're a warmonger, you're a criminal, like to just yell at him. It's like, it's the same thing that like Joe Rogan does when he has someone on a podcast who's like controversial. They just kind of let him fucking, open up a little bit. That's the whole point. Is because if he just goes on the attack the whole time, it's like, well, we would have. Tucker wasn't the right guy to interview Putin. It should have been. And then they never say like, well, who should have done it? Who should have done it? Who would have done a fucking better job? Who would have done a better job?
Yeah.
Fucking.
I don't know.
Ooh.
At this point, I don't know who. I'm not a big fan of Tucker personally. Like, I like him as a person, but like as an interviewer or as like a serious person, I just think he's like a little goofy. Something about it sets me off.
He's a fucking goofball, dude.
He does like the fawning thing all the time, where he's like constantly just like,
Yeah.
He's just like way too into the discussion for what's being discussed.
He does that to everybody, though.
Yeah. I don't know. It kind of puts me off a little bit, but other than that, he's a competent dude, just a little goofy. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad it happened. I feel like, and like at the end, he was trying to negotiate like the release of that other American dude that got in trouble for
What's his name,
espionage
like
or whatever.
Dershowitz or something
Yeah.
like that.
So that's pretty interesting. I mean, it's like that. This is probably like the closest thing that we can have to some kind of negotiation or peace talks, because it's like clearly like Biden's not going to do shit,
Yeah.
and the whole like I don't know. It's just like the whole media apparatus is just ready to go to war with Russia. But it's like, how? It's like, we can't fight a fucking world war on all fronts with fight Russia, fight China, fight the Middle East, fight Iran, fight everybody, Mexico too.
I don't know. What definitely put me off about it is he seems a little too complacent. He seems all too willing to just be like, I don't know. I mean, it's not my fucking problem that you guys have problems.
Right.
Like, and I'm like, well, eventually it's going to be your problem.
Yeah.
You're also like losing soldiers and you're trying
Right.
to fight the United States through a proxy state. So I'm like,
Right.
is it not your problem actually to take the initiative to, you know, call up leadership and put the foot forward to make peace talks happen?
And that's
So-
kind of what he was saying, is that like he went to Istanbul and was trying to have all these peace talks, and Boris Johnson basically put a stop to that. Or Boris Johnson told Ukraine to keep fighting. You know, like all these other countries are just backing up Ukraine. They're like, keep fighting the good fight. We got your back, all this stuff. And it's like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of seems like a toddler move in a way where they're like, I hate you. And then you're like, they just believe that for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, you can't just leave it at that.
Right.
Literally people's lives are at stake. So,
And how much of that has to do with the oil pipelines too? Because the whole
Yeah.
thing about the Nord Stream
Oh, he
pipeline
even said
blowing up.
too. He was like, "Who blew up the Nord Stream pipeline?" He's like, "You guys."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
That
like,
was
I don't
pretty-
know, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
That was
well,
pretty
it just doesn't make sense. Like, what motivation would Putin have to blow up his own pipeline, even though that's like making him money? It's like just the most projection type thing. They're like, he blew up his own thing. It's like a false flag, and I'm like, you mean like what we do all the time to start conflicts around the world?
Hey,
Maybe.
he even said, I'm like, I would get into doing that, but it's cost prohibitive, and straight up, we would get like outclassed by the United States, like at any
Right.
like tactics of, you know, psyops, false flags, that kind of thing.
Right, because it's underwater too. Like that's not an easy operation to do.
No,
It's a
no.
big underwater pipeline, and it's just, I mean, like we talk about the BP oil spill in the U.S. and all the fucking chaos that's caused, but it's like, dude, nobody's talking about the Nord Stream pipeline. Everybody was like, we got to shut down the Keystone pipeline, man. And then it's like, here we are. I guess is this pipeline still like just leaking oil into the fucking ocean?
As far as I know, yeah.
How does that work? And we're
They-
just like, we're cool with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Who done it?
what are they gonna do to stop it?
Right, and it's like, who would be the other interested party other than the U.S.?
States.
Would China
Bingo.
do it? I don't think so. Would Germany
probably
do
not.
it? I don't think so. Germany's getting all their oil, but then
Yeah.
all these other countries turned off their oil because there's another pipeline. I didn't actually know that there's two. There's one that was going through the ocean that got bombed,
Right.
and then there's another pipeline that's going through Eastern Europe that they're basically just refusing. So they're like they're trying to like sanction Russia into poverty to make them stop.
Yeah.
But it almost seems like all these other countries that have oil, like the U.S. and like China and like, you know, other countries in the Middle East, they're trying to just cut off Russia's supply of oil into Europe.
Yeah, I mean, they've been cut off from all the financial institutions
Yeah.
that use American currency,
Right.
USD. So,
And now,
it
and he
only
said,
makes sense.
and
yeah.
he said even like just a couple decades ago, there's only 3% or so of transactions in Russia being used with yuan, China's currency, but now it's up to like 34%.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like like he was saying, we're almost playing ourselves into like giving up ground on like,
Yeah.
why are we trying to lose all this fucking money and just letting? I mean, it's basically playing right into BRICS nations' hands. So we did that whole other episode about it. This is all the BRICS nations and all the shit that they're up to. You know, it's pretty fucking wild.
Yeah. And I mean, it's directly her fault too. He even said that. He's like, you know, this wasn't my choice. I mean, we're like benefiting. Obviously, like trade is almost half in yuan now or something like that, and half in fucking, you know, rubles, I guess is their native currency.
Right.
Yeah. So
Rubles.
Rubles. It's a fun word. But yeah, it's a weird economic shift for them, and they've no reason not to get friendly with or friendlier with China. Like, so
Yeah, man. Well, I just hope that, yeah, there can be some kind of negotiation on the table or some kind of end to this, because it's like, bro, so many people are dying in Ukraine and Russia and Israel and Gaza, all this bullshit, man. It's like, I don't know. Shit's fucking, it's just ramping up on a very quick level. And it's very, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Not a super fun topic, but yeah.
No,
That's what's going on.
It's the real state of the world, though. And I mean, like, we try not to cover a ton of crazy, tough political stuff like this, but it's like the first time in years that we've gotten any clarity on the situation. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, go watch it yourself. See what you think. Fucking send us some voicemails. We'll get them fucking read. Yeah, man. Is there anything else you guys wanted to hit?
I think I'm solid. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe we should just do a fucking just do a short one. Sorry, guys, the fucking call-in shit didn't work. We're still in the process of getting that going.
Yeah.
Is it possible that after this, maybe we could just do a little test stream and like just try and see if we can make it fucking work? Just like a throwaway little stream.
Sure.
Just like cap this off and then see if we can troubleshoot this shit, because
Yeah.
we're trying to troubleshoot shit live on the air. It doesn't quite fucking work. So
Nope.
appreciate your patience, y'all. Fucking yeah, we'll be coming back at it with more guests next week.
Quentin Nolebois coming on
Yeah.
next week from France.
Yes, indeed.
French dude.
Oh, we've never said anything against the French on the whole history of this podcast.
No, never.
Never.
Until today.
Until today. Yeah. And I didn't say anything negative. I said I don't give a fuck about the French, but that's
inherently neutral.
That's neutral.
Yeah.
I'm ambivalent.
Exactly.
I'm sure they got some cool shit.
Yeah. I'm not saying
Bread.
I could never. Just
Yeah.
that I don't currently. Yeah.
I like a croissant. I like a croissant.
Croissants are
Hey,
great.
shout out to French colonialism. Without that, we wouldn't have banh mi sandwiches.
I don't even know what that means.
You don't know that?
That's pretty good.
They're fucking. You never had a banh mi?
I'm just waiting for somebody to bond me from the internet so I can stop doing this shit, bro.
You never had a banh mi, dude?
What do I gotta say?
It's the fucking Vietnamese sandwich, dude.
Something
It's got a French roll, dude. Where the fuck you
like
think
an
they got that
Like
from?
an Asian sandwich on a French roll. It's
I'm
pretty
confused
bussin'.
as fuck, but
Yeah.
it sounds good.
Yeah.
You never seen two French buns double team a Vietnamese
Salad.
sandwich? You never seen
I'm interested.
Well,
It's
we'll talk
bussin',
about
You'd like
that.
it. Yeah, no, for
Yeah,
real.
we'll
Really
talk
good.
about that.
We should go get some soon.
Yeah, that sounds fucking good, actually.
Okay. All right.
Fucking-
Well, let's cap it there. Sorry,
cap
people,
it
that
there.
the call-in didn't work out. It's a
Hey.
fucking bummer. This episode's a lot more depressing without the call-in.
That's okay. If you're if you're tuned in, I think we might just like hit a fucking test stream real quick and see if it works. We'll probably just have someone here try and call in just to get it working, and we'll probably delete the video after. But
What? Yeah.
just
You know,
because it seemed like it was all working before we started streaming, and then the instant we start streaming, it was
like
the fucking.
a 5-minute difference,
I know.
bro.
it's
I know.
what- yeah.
So well, maybe we'll do a little bonus episode or something in between here and next Monday, and we'll get some call-ins going, because I really want to do that, because otherwise sometimes it does get a little depressing. But yeah, we'll catch up with y'all next week. Stay tuned. Bye.